thank you and feel welcome in the house. I think you started with the word of prayer. Now we are just going directly to the introduction part of it. And the department, currently we are going live. I think we can proceed. Let's begin with the introduction part of it. We start from the members. To the far left, Mheshimiwa. Let's start with the introduction.
Afternoon. Abilo Mondinya Suna, Masogonyangoma Ward.
Good afternoon. I'm Honorable Pamela Uroyo, representing Migosi Ward.
Good afternoon. I'm Mamuya Millicent, North Seme Ward.
Good afternoon. My name is Ben Abuada, Committee Clerk, Water, Environment, Natural Resources Committee.
Thank you for the introduction. I'm Honorable Samuel Dede, Chair to the committee, and other members are still on the way coming. We'll proceed. Now let me take the issue to the Waziri to introduce your team. Thank you.
Honorable Chair and all the honorable members, good afternoon. My name is Judith Oluoch, the CEC Water, Environment, Climate Change. Thank you.
Honorable members, sources.
Services Kisumu County.
Good afternoon, Martin Olo, Director Environment.
Good afternoon. I'm Ken Koyo, Director Environment, Natural Resources.
Good afternoon, Honorables. My name is Evans Gichana, the Director Climate Change.
Thank you for the introduction part of it. And now we are directly to the agenda of the day, which is deliberation on the proposed KCFSP for this financial year. And hopefully that the document came from the department. Now sit down to Waziri to take us through the document.
Thank you, honorable members. More. Now, as the department, yes. As the Department of Water, really our mission is to enhance safe and healthy environment with sustainable water supply that are climate resilient through a multi-sectoral approach. So we were able to work on the document and considered 4 broad areas, which is water infrastructure development, which actually there are about 6 broad areas. If you look at the projects, which captures quite a number of projects that we shall be discussing here. Then there is the aspect of sanitation services, environment, natural resources. Then the area of climate change. Then we have what environment and natural resources. So basically, those are the broad areas. I stand guided based on the communication that we received. There were about 6 specific areas. If you allow us to just invite my team, to take you through, we'll start with the review of the absorption. And allow me to invite the chief officer to take us through that. Thank you.
You will allow me to, Honorable Chair, and honorable members, you will allow me to speak when I'm standing. Yes. And a disclaimer today, I don't have my glasses. I lost my glasses. Some of the writings I'll not be able to see clearly. But I wanted to state in this house that in the year 2024, 2023, 2024, up to June, on our recurrent expenditure, we had done an absorption rate of 41%. For the development, we had only done about 20% on the development. We had a development budget of about 167 650 167 million 650. And from the report which I generated, is system generated, we've managed only to pay 42 million 54. $42 million 754 464, which comprises about 20% absorption for the projects that were implemented in the year 2023, 2024. I would beg to stop there.
Okay, proceed, Honorable Pamela.
Can we be given copies of the reading?
Thank you, Chief. I think, okay. Thank you, Chief, for the clarification. But we would have requested you to give us the breakdown, some of the recurrent and the development, if you may have them.
Chair, we'll just request you to give us a minute or two as he gets it from the laptop. You know, we had only that one set of the printed. So he's referring. Thank you.
Honorable Chair, I would read some of the expenditures as captured in this report which we generated. Planning and administration, there is an actual expenditure of original budget. There was 44 million 550,927. There was an adjustment through supplementary of 781,607. Then the final budget there was about 45,432, and the actual expenditure on that under that line is 19,962,449. Then we have another budget on the management of stations. There was a original budget of 28,950,658, and a supplementary. There was a request that was approval of 7,999,998. The final budget was 36,950,656. Then we had an actual expenditure under that line of 16,315,964. We have under climate change a budget of 6.2 million. Then there was a reduction on that budget after supplementary. So we had a total budget of 3,156,532. Under that line, where the actual spend is 1,492,000. We have the mining efficiency, 1.2 million. Under supplementary, there was a reduction on that budget by 834. We have 373 as the final budget, 373, 400,000. And then in the actual spend, we have only spent 185,000. Then we have infrastructure development, a budget of 6,963,825. Under supplementary, there was a reduction on that budget by 748. The final budget was 6,214,688. Then in the actual spend, we have 784. 784,200,000. 784, I beg your pardon, 784,200 shillings. Then we have sustainable access to safe waters. We had a budget of 1,897,362. In the supplementary, there was a reduction on that budget by 569,762. The actual final budget outlook was 1,327,000, and then we've only spent 1 million under that line. Environmental conservation of natural resources. We had a budget of 1,220,244. After supplementary, there was a reduction on that budget by 260. The final outlook of that budget is 800,244. We have only spent under that line 93,900. Then we have the solid waste management, a budget of 4,022,000. After supplementary, there's a knockoff on that budget by 569,000, leaving a budget of 3,453,000, and the actual spend on that is 2,034,000. If we look at the bottom line of our recurrent, we had an original budget of 159,854,646. Then after the adjustment reduced it by 1,469,000. 259. Our final budget under that line, the total recurrent is 158, 367, 387. And the actual spend is 92 million, 598, 856. So giving us that percentage, which I'd read before that as 41% spent. On development. Under this category, we had, can I give the summary? Because on development, there are so many projects that is captured under that. So if you allow me to just read the final figure under development.
You can proceed with the final figures.
Thank you. The original budget was 366,150,000. Then on adjustments, there was a supplementary budget for 61,500,000, giving us a total budget under development for 427,650,000. So far, we've managed to pay out 42,754,484, which is giving us a percentage absorption of only 20%. And I've given the highlights. Many of these projects, especially projects that were run in 2023, 2024, they were fully implemented, fully submitted for payments, but now under payments now, only what went through and were paid were only 42 million, giving us a total percentage of 20%. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief. It seems you've given us the breakdown of expenditure for the financial year 2024, 2023, 2024. And kindly, can you proceed to give us the breakdown of the expenditure, the current expenditure and the development expenditure as per the part of the year, this financial year between June 2024 and December 2024. July to December for this financial year, for the current financial year, so that we can proceed from there.
Thank you, Chair. We have got projects that were done by December last year. We have got Lago Water Project, by that time it was Ndiru Water Project, stage, King of Okode Primary School, bidding stage.
Yes, Honorable Member, we've requested for a financial year, the current one, up to the half part of it, the first 2 quarters. You're proceeding.
Extension of pipe water around Barmathonye, bidding stage. Wachara Water Project at bidding stage. Water Project pipeline and other auxiliary activities at Korwana Primary School, bidding stage. Water Project pipeline and auxiliary activities at Kosangany Primary School, at bidding stage. Chair, I don't know, most of all these things by then were at bidding stage by December. And the total amount, fortunately, I've not come up with the amount, but I can give you the amount in the next minutes.
Through Chair, let me give the updates on the projects as implementation as per December 2024 or 2024-2025. Within the budget, we had a total budget of 307,717,160. By December, that is the total budget that we had for projects, and we had only paid, and majorly these were the FLOCA projects that were paid, 14 million 339 500 shillings. And I wanted to say here that as the director water has mentioned, by December, most of our projects were at bidding stage. The current status now, all projects are at implementation stage. Thank you.
Okay. Through to the chief officer. Kindly switch off. Kindly switch off. It seems you've given us the breakdown of 14,339,500. Just in. Why can't you just give us the breakdown? Which quarter and which quarter? Because it's being done at quarterly. Because this is half the project. The first quarter, what was done, and then the second quarter, which gives us that total.
Okay. In my summary, I'd summarized everything within the 2 quarters, and that was capturing what we implemented between July and December. Maybe I would request, Chair, that I can submit this one in writing. Yeah, at a mentioned date. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. And Waziri can proceed. The other one. The other one. Chief officer.
Thank you, Chair. Now, just as a matter of clarity, if you recall the first 6 months or the first 2 quarters, remember the CRF projects never took off until recently. And then in the case of FLOCA projects, our first advertisement, which was competitive, was sometime in July, August. And then the other one, which was around September, October. So that is the reason why the absorption at that point in time. And the delay for the FLOCA was because of the delay in the reimbursement of funds. That is what happened. So you find that in the first half of the year, we were basically on procedures and working on the BQs and the procurement procedures. Thank you.
Is there any member having any concern about that? You can proceed, Mashima. Thank you. Now you can now get us to the proposed expenditure ceilings for the financial year 2025, the CFSP 2025-2026. Can proceed with that. I think to make it simple, the question is, if you compare the proposed, the approved budget for the 2025 and the proposed budget for the 2025-2026, you see there are some gaps. The money has reduced. The reduction is there for the OM and the development component part of it. Can you give us the reasons? proceed on that.
Okay, Chair, here we have got the summary programs and sub-programs whereby the amount of money that we had projected was 734, but approved was 699 for that last financial year. And currently we have been given for development. That is for development. For development this year, we have got 440, 378, 494 Kenya shillings. Oh, and I believe this one is a serious drawdown in terms of, if you look at the activities we have been doing on water and environment, we actually need an increase on development money instead of reduction. Number one, this is a place whereby the water coverage in Kisumu County is becoming lower. The garbage dumping sites is at pathetic stage. Remember our senator last week, but one talked about the situation of Kisumu County in terms of dumping garbages in Kisumu County. This is so because we don't have enough money to manage these facilities, especially the dumping site that is supposed to have operational maintenance money does not have any single cent. Our trucks are all down. We cannot manage to use these trucks because they are all down. In terms of water supply, we cannot rehabilitate our old water supplies because we don't have the money to rehabilitate these water supplies. Thank you. Maybe my fellow director can add something on the same.
Thank you, Chair, for this opportunity. Just as been said, there's a dramatic change, development, and also in the current operations and maintenance, such that we'll be unable to move efficiently and provide service to residents of Kisumu. Just as a pointer, we should know that when we had a chalk dump site, a chalk dump site was being managed by City Department of Environment, and there was an allocation being put annually. Accessing Kachok is very easy because you use tarmac road, that place, and at the same time, the access wasn't as big a challenge as the 22 kilometers where our trucks have to go right now, and maneuver very bad road. So every now and again we have breakdowns. Even at the moment, City has only one truck operating. Ours is also only one. About 2, 3 are down. Community is up at arms at Kasese that they want that dump site to be decommissioned and taken elsewhere. And now where is that elsewhere? And this is because county is negating on the promises that it gave to the community. And one of them was to have efficient management of that particular facility. And that management cannot be done without finances. It requires heavy investment and funds. Most probably even beyond the budget that we have here. Now, I'm trying to say that for what we've seen that has been allocated as a ceiling for maintenance and operations is 36 million, which is way below what got the year. We have the dam site to manage, and that's a very big problem. Our own estimation says that if we can get at least 10 million to do superficial management of the dam site, we'll push it somewhere. Otherwise, we need real investment. In terms of development, access is a problem. And at one time, we invited the committee here. They appreciated the problem. And at that time, we can say it was better. It is worse right now. We need to fix the access roads. We've done bill of quantities for those roads and what we require. And it comes to a tune of 30 million. We need culverts so that we manage the water around that place. On drainages, we need a little bit of funds in our operations and maintenance for fuel so that we can use an excavator that is stationed there to work on those particular areas. The other thing that I want to talk about, honorables, is that we interact a lot with most of you. And when you have functions, one thing that you normally do is to call the department that Waziri, Chief Officer Director, give us some seedlings. We used to have an allocation of seedlings production in our own tree nurseries, which are 5 in number. And we were producing a lot. At national level, we are expected to be planting from Kisumu County over 100,000 seeds every year. If you look at what we have, no allocation has been made on that. Meaning that the department is now just going to beg from other departments. But if you go to KFS, they'll tell you that they are under instruction that their seedlings should be for their revenue generation. So we have nowhere to go at the moment. If you ask for seedlings, they'll just tell you that we are unable to get it. So we need to take a role because these are significant mandate of county governments. About 22 functions have been devolved on forestry functions. One of them is nursery tree production and afforestation, both in gazetted areas and also in public lands and community forest. We want to make Kisumu green because Kisumu is only at 1.6%, about 4th or 5th last in the country. But these ones require some investment. Now we are here. We've given that particular area a zero budget. We are requesting that it's considered and we have at least 6 million so that we produce high value crops and seedlings for distribution to our people to make Kisumu a bit green. The other submission that I want to make is that before you hear, we have bills that are very important. Yesterday, Governor talked about maraming, quarrying, and sand harvesting that is affecting our lands. Surprisingly, we don't have a law governing that. And we know that this committee, together with the private members' bill that is before us, can try and fast track that. Because we are working closely with that particular committee to ensure that things work. The next one is solid waste management bill. Again, all these bills, in one way or the other, they'll require a little bit of funding and facilitation for both drafting, public consultation, printing that go with it. The department has zero budget on this, and we are kindly requesting that you reconsider that probably to have some allocation, even if it is $1 million or 2 million each, for us to move this particular legislation to some acceptable level. Finally, evacuation of waste. It is a big problem. Everybody wants to live in a clean place. Our markets sometimes are terrible. Trade is asking us to evacuate waste. But again, the fuel that we have is inadequate because we have a rig that works in terms of borehole drilling. And we still need that same fuel to move everywhere to collect waste. In a day, probably it will spend 150 or 200 liters. We are operating optimally. So we need budget along this side, and we are proposing that you consider adding us about 10 million to help us operate a bit efficiently. Thank you very much.
Okay. Seems Waziri has something to add on that. Can proceed.
Chair, what I just want to speak on, in summary to what the director has mentioned, last year we got 427 billion. This year, sorry. Now, what we got for recurrent was 44 billion. But you realize that this included Flocker. And out of that budget, all that together, Flocker had 273, where 173 is what came from the National Treasury, and 100 million was the matching fund. So you can see what was allocated to the department was very little. In fact, if Flocker was not there, probably we wouldn't have done much. That's last year. But now our challenge is, based on what has been mentioned, when we looked at the ceiling, which was shared by finance, we will be allocated something around 307. It's around that much on average, million for all development projects. And that includes what we are likely to get from Flocker, which we don't know as we speak. And then even for recurrent, compared to what was there, which was 44, we have been told that this time round we'll get 36. And that includes the CCIS for Flocker. So it will really be a challenge implementing quite a number of things. Thank you.
Yes, Waziri has really elaborated on what the issues. It's only that while the chief was trying to say about the figures, just talking of, he needed more allocation from the director. Or you said you need more allocations, but doesn't specify on the figure. And in terms of budget, we talk of figures. So director, just talk of we need more money, but it doesn't talk of figures. Thank you. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Now, proceed. Let him proceed.
Funding. When we got this message, we have really put a concerted effort if we can get additional 21 million. And this one goes like this. For Kasese dam site access ways, we want to be real because we know resource envelope is not that much. We've put 5 million. For review of Climate Change Act and policy, we require like 3 million. For repair of plant and equipment, and I think that is what Director Koyo was really talking about. You are aware about the noise that normally goes around the waste collection, and our equipments. We rely a lot on equipments, on the lorries, on the backhoes to ensure that we evacuate our markets from waste. And also that one we have budgeted for around 3 million. If we can get that one, we'll be okay. Repair of motor vehicle, we need like another extra 3 million. Then for maram and sand harvesting, that is the bill, will require like another 2 million. Then for the establishment of county tree nurseries, will require like another 2 million. Then the last one is the maintenance of existing water facilities, which will require another 3 million, giving a total of 21 million. And let me just highlight a bit on what I've said and what Director Koyo mentioned. When we'll be discussing this budget, and probably when taking for your consideration for approval, as we look into the budget, to take into the core mandates of the department, which sometimes we find ourselves going to allocate budgets for projects and we don't give enough funds for the core mandate. And the core mandates for the project for this department is majorly on the forestation. So we are looking forward this year that will be considered for a budget for tree seedlings, a budget for proper budgeting for that will take care of our waste evacuation, and also to clean the environment. That is very key for us as we look into even putting projects, give us space that we have enough budget for those three categories, that we are like a service department. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief, for the elaborations. It's only that you deal mostly on the OM, but the development component of it, just you've not tackled. And I think it's okay. We'll see how to go about it. Then we go to the next issue. Discuss the sector strategic priorities and policy goals, which will form the basis of budget for the financial year.
Mheshimiwa. For our department as water, we have got 5 thematic areas to be looking into. Number 1 is to increase water coverage within Kisumu County. Number 2 is to increase water storage in Kisumu County. Number 3 is to reduce non-revenue water. Number 4 is to increase rainwater harvesting within Kisumu County. And number 5 is the issue of governance in the water sector. If you start with the increase on water coverage, Kisumu County is the county that has got one of the least water coverage compared to the national government that is having 47%. Kisumu, we are at 41% water coverage. What I mean by water coverage, this is water at your household, piped water, clean, potable water at your household, safe for consumption. We are at one of the least counties in terms of water coverage, and to some extent we are coming down. In terms of sewerage, Kisumu County is at 17% sewer cover, and we are looking forward to increase it to 30%. But nothing has ever been allocated within this county government for sewer development. That is number 1. Number 2, for us to increase water coverage, we have first of all to do a new feasibility study for all our 14 gazetted water supplies. What I mean by this gazetted water supply, these are water supplies like Reru, that is Kisumu Rural. If I start with the part of Seme, if you come to West, we have Maseno Kombewa water supply. If you go to Nyakach, we have Nyakach water supply. If you go to Moron, we have Moron water supply, and many others. These water supplies were done in early 80s, and up to now, they have outlived their period because the lifespan of a water supply or a water infrastructure is 20 years. And if these water supplies were done in early 80s or, for example, 1980, it means they are supposed to be overhauled by the year 2000. And remember, we are the year 2025. So we are 25 years after the design period of this water supply. So that's why I really call the members to see the need why we need to do a lot of major infrastructure development in water area so that we can achieve the 100% water coverage as envisioned in the Vision 2030, as also vision in the strategic development goals, in making sure that water is there for all. As a county government, we have a government manifesto of a clean and safe environment, whereby I believe we are going to reduce much diseases and we are going to put less funds to health if we ensure that our environment is clean and the water we are using is also clean, free from pathogens and microorganisms that can cause diseases and deaths. In terms of water storage, Kisumu County is also one of the counties that does not have any dam. When there is drought, we are highly affected. When there is flood, we are highly affected. How I wish that the county government can start in small way of doing small dams as we wait for the major dams to be done by the county, by the national government, like Korusoin Dam. Other counties have got dams to help them supply water during drought season or to store water during flood season. We as a county government, we are not storing any water at all, apart from the household water storage. When it comes to non-revenue water, we have got a problem in terms of reducing non-revenue water as a county government of Kisumu. Number one, our major water service provider, that is Kiwasco, is losing over 39%, that's around over 37% of its water. Between 37% to 41% is being lost. In the rural areas, we are losing over 65%. We as a county government, before we do much activity, can we look forward in a way that we can reduce this non-revenue water to make sure that this water that is wasted is taken to the right place, to the right people, and to the right community, where it can be used effectively. Then in terms of water governance, you realize that most of the water facilities are not working well because there is poor governance, because our communities are not trained well to ensure that the water is there throughout, so that they can manage these water supplies. So we need also money to ensure that there is proper governance on this community, this small community water development. Remember, we have come up with a Kiwasco, that is Kisumu Rural Water Supplies Company, whereby it's going to manage the rural water supplies. And this one cannot be started because we don't have the funds to manage these water supplies. We cannot stand alone when we are left now to pay chemicals, pay power, and pay salaries for this rural water company. So we really need much money and a lot of money to make sure that our people within Kisumu County is having clean, affordable, safe water supply at the doorstep. Chair, if I can give you an example, our neighbors here in Kakamega is having water coverage of over 63%. And I believe they have done new water infrastructure for the last even 15 years. With us, we have not done any new water infrastructure for the last 45 years. We are at pathetic stage. Thank you so much.
Thank you for the elaboration. Do any member have something to add on? You can proceed, Honorable Millicent.
Yeah, thank you, Chair. I just wanted to know if the director can make me understand the term non-revenue water.
To Mheshimiwa, my friend, when you are producing water, for example, you are producing water at the treatment works in Donga, you are producing 1,000 cubic meter of water for the month. Then, if you take this water you take it to people, you can only account for maybe 40, 60% of this water, which means the 60% you cannot account for it. It has gone maybe to leakages, someone has stolen it, it has got lost somewhere. This is the water we can account for, the 40%. So 60% is the non-revenue water. It is water that is not billed. Yes. I don't know the chair, whether you are getting me. I'm supposed to address you. Sorry. Thank you.
Thank you for the clarification. You can proceed, Waziri.
Yeah, thank you. And that's a very important question, Mheshimiwa, because it is said that non-revenue water in Kisumu is very high. It is being attributed sometimes to the construction that is taking place, especially in the informal settlements, because there is a lot of damage to the pipes. I know it's something that our Kewasco is trying to handle, but we are losing a lot of water to wastage. It's a major challenge in the sector. Thank you. Chair, if you allow me, I can move to the other directorates. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. Allow me talk about the Directorate of Environment and Natural Resources. And just to let us all know, environment is probably one of the largest sector and area. Even in books, they say it's the widest science. So it needs to be taken care of well with funds. About our mandate in the department, one of our objectives is to strengthen solid waste management system in Kisumu County. And when we talk about solid waste management system, we are talking of the whole chain of solid waste, from point of generation, point of temporary storage, point of transportation, and recovery issues, and ultimate all a site. So we need to do something at all these points. And I want to thank this assembly and the chair for enabling us to spend some money in purchasing a specialized truck that will be coming soon, that we'll be using for solid waste management, and it will be specialized towards organic waste management, which is one of the challenges that we're having in the county. If you eliminate that, we'll have a little bit low pressure on the same. Now, this one goes with a lot of awareness and consultations with the public and some investments also in this particular area. Awareness in the sense that we need to reach communities and teach them on separations. And one thing that they ask for is, where are the skips? Where are the bins? So we are normally taken aback there. We need some budget to actualize this. The national government has given, through the law that was enacted in 2022, Sustainable Solid Waste Management Act, that we need to have 3 types of waste bins. One for organic, another one for recoverable materials, and another one for waste that will go to landfill, which in our case is the dump site. As a department, we need to invest in that. We are telling communities, separate your waste. Yes, some are separating, so that we can pick. And when we go picking, we don't have those specialized bins in different locations. So that is one area that we want assistance to. The second thing, we had collection points. For example, in Awasi, we had something that we call collection chamber, but it has stayed for so long. It has survived over 10 years, But you see the kind of waste that we are using, it's organic. When you put it there, that juice, in environment term, we call it leachate. It's very acidic. So it corrodes cement very fast. So within no time, it's down. So that facility has survived for about 10 years. And currently it is down. So they don't have any collection chamber. The same thing if you go to Holo, you have the same problem. And even Kombewa. We need investments along this side. And we are improving them a bit by having something that we call a material recovery facility. That is one strategy that we are using to ensure that waste is no longer a waste, but it is something that can be made to make economic value. Another area of our intervention as a department is to increase forest and tree cover within rural and urban spaces. And actually in the constitutions, we are supposed to even come up with arboretum, which Kisumu we don't have. There's just a struggle to have one down here. What if we have parks which are well maintained in our four or on the five towns that were unveiled? I think it is something that we need to take down to Mashinani there and probably have the areas covered. Encourage farms also to have trees and distribute trees in schools. We work closely with the schools and they keep on asking us, like right now it's a rainy season. We have so many letters. They are requesting for seedlings to plant, but unfortunately we don't have. So going forward, we'll want a budget along this particular line. The other objective of the department, of the directorate, is to conserve degraded lands and lakeshore, which we've done very poor in this. We have areas where maram has been harvested, where sand has been harvested, but we've not invested in trying to rehabilitate them. Actually, we have zero budget in this particular area. It's very important to conserve these areas because if we leave them degraded, it will not be good for the current generation and also the future generation. The other objective is on noise, pollution control. It's a very interesting area, but again challenging because we need the equipment to do this. And an equipment that meets the standard and can stand in a court of law cost about 2 million. So this is one aspect that we need to look at. Same applies to air pollution. So we normally partner a lot along this particular area, but it's one area of consideration. So finally, we need to strengthen environmental management system. And here we have a challenge. The way environment management has been designed in the country is that at county level, we have something that is called a committee that is called County Environment Committee. And this committee is to meet regularly and give direction, and it brings multi-stakeholders and agencies. And it has to develop something that we call County Environmental Action Plan, which makes work easier. We just pull projects from there and put in our programs together with other agencies. We don't have one for Kisumu County. It's also a very good resource mobilization document. To develop one, we need between 3 and 4 million. So this is one area that we also consider, so that we have this committee operating. The committee is also operating on zero budget. And if our current expenditure can be increased by even 1 million, the committee will be able to operate more efficiently. Thank you. I give it to now the next presenter.
Thank you. Just on the same, environment needs education. We need to educate people on our environment up to Mashinani. and we cannot be able to educate without resources to make us go to mashinane, because if we educate our people to understand their environment and the importance of the environment, then most of the things that we are talking about may not be very expensive. But if you just leave it like that, everybody's doing what they want with the environment, then the environment becomes very, very expensive to maintain. So we need such maybe allocation for advocacy, so that we create awareness to our communities, to our families, the importance of the environment, which I think maybe if we can have a small location, maybe of 2 million, we can be able to. But we also, if possible, we can have a track that we can be going out educating our people on the use of the environment facilities. I think that's what I wanted to add. Apart from that, we continue. Thank you.
Okay. Before Gichana, there is a question on environment.
Yeah, I would like to know, do we have environment officers for wards? Or at what level do we have the environment officers?
In fact, we have sub-county offices, which is operating up to the ward level. Every sub-county has got environment officers. So we have them up to sub-county level, but they go to all our sub-counties. We don't have maybe lack of staffing, but all in all, if it is necessary, we should have them up to the ward level.
I think.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Honorable Member, for that very good question. Based on the issues that the director has mentioned, it's important that you asked that question. The challenge that we are having is that we don't have staff. The sub-county environment officers, I would say there are only 3. There are only 3, but you see they are sharing the sub-counties. You find one taking care of 2 sub-counties. We don't even have ward environment officers. And it's the same thing with water also. So there is a shortage. You find one sub-county officer for water also taking care of 2 sub-counties. So there is a problem there as well. Thank you.
Thank you. I think Mheshimiwa still has some question to ask. Can proceed.
Yeah, I was just comparing what they were presenting, like saying that we can have a truck going around. It will be going at a cost, and it will be a bidded cost. You'll find they will be even paid 2 million. Why can't you start thinking of maybe putting a budget so that we have staffs that we know that this one is his area of jurisdiction is not Seme. He gets an office in North Seme, so that when people have problem, it's easy to reach them.
Well noted, Mheshimiwa. You can proceed, Director Gichan.
Thank you very much, Chairman, and thank you, members, for this opportunity. Just to highlight a few areas of the mandate of climate change as a directorate. The directorate's mandate is to mainstream climate change in all the sectors that we have. And in terms of mainstreaming this sector, much of it is done through the CIDP. And also, these sectors are to be coordinated. Climate change is an enabler. It makes the other sectors to understand more on how communities can be trained and also can be sensitized to become more resilient in terms of climate change, because this is a global phenomena which we find that all over the world we are supposed to reduce the impacts of climate change through reducing the greenhouse gas effects by 1.5 to below 1.5. And we are also happy that the governor has been very passionate on this. And I want also to thank the members of the County Assembly, because the policies that we have and the acts that is existing, we were able to work on this together. And right now, since this was done, is 3 years down the line, and they require a review. So the policies of climate change and the act will require a review. So we need resources. That is where our chief was reading, and we were requesting 3 million for reviewing these policies, and that we normally do with the support of also the county assembly when we are working together on these policies and also the act. Secondly, we have structures in the ground. These structures that were formed in the name of award climate change planning committees need also to be strengthened in terms of trainings and capacity, so that they can be able to sensitize the community on climate resilience. As you may be aware, most of these structures, by next year, these committees would have finished their 3 years term. We'll need to have new committees. That will also need public participation to go and also identify new committees to be in place. The second key area that we are looking at is what we call participatory climate risk assessment. We need to do the risk assessment on vulnerability, where we go to the committee and identify the key areas and they prioritize. This will also require resources, which we will need to include in this particular process. Another area where we find is so important is what we call the scenario planning, where we are supposed to give information to the communities, particularly the farmers, on weather forecast, so that they can also be educated to understand and to be able to be prepared for the various seasons that come and what they ought to do. This will require that we operationalize the CIS, or what we call the Climate Information Service plan. And that plan will also require resources, so that we are able to reach the community with the climate information. Lastly, Chair, we need also to think about partnership and collaboration. And in this line, it has enabled the climate change directorate, with the support of other sectors, to bring on board other partners who are able to support us with resources. And this is an area also that where we normally have, we strengthen about. I would like to say that if we are given adequate resources, then we'll be able to strengthen the key areas that I mentioned earlier, and also to support the program that is ongoing of LOCA. Thank you very much.
Thank you, the directors, for the elaboration. It's only that there is one point which you have not captured well. Well, the director of water was at least trying to at latest issues. You see that we've got the rig machine. Yet you've not told us even the procedure whereby we don't have even the hydrologist in the department. You've not even considered that. Yeah, the workmanship there. You know, we have a machine, but how do you operate with it without having the technician there? Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Chair, for drawing our attention to that very important stuff. The hydrologist that we had exited on 31st of December. So the county government of Kisumu actually doesn't have an hydrologist. But prior to that, Honorable Chair, I did present a request to the executive on, the recruitment of the same. And also we need like 3 water engineers in the department and the officers that were mentioned here. So it's something that I did present, but we all know that there is a challenge with our wage bill. So I was told to wait until certain matters are considered and there is a budget for the same. So I'll appeal to members of this committee to help us in this because we have a shortage. It's really difficult. In fact, in the department, I would say we only have about 30 technical people. All the others are just support staff. And that covers the entire Kisumu County. So even supervision of projects is a real problem. Thank you.
Thank you, Waziri. I think we'll consider that. Then another question is, Waziri, through the department. We targeted for some on-source revenue. Can you just highlight us from the on-source revenue as from for the first half of the financial year and what you project?
Thank you. Honorable Chair, in our area of environment water, that is in the department, we have 5 revenue streams. The one that is quite well known is the conservancy fee that we expect from Kewasco. Now, this particular conservancy fee, in the budget, what was expected per month is actually 3 million. But Kewasco has only been remitting to us, to the revenue board, because it's revenue that, the revenue board that collects this. Kewasco has only been submitting 1 million per month. Of course, they attribute this to the many bills by the county government, because they are saying that the county government owes them a lot of money. This includes the health facilities and all our other facilities, stadium and all the others. So they are supposed to be remitting 3,000 to the county, but that's minimum. That's actually minimum. So for the first half of the year, from July to December, they only, actually from July to date, so you wanted to December, they only paid the county, or rather sent to the county 6 million. Then we have CES. CES, in the area of quarrying, Maram, and all the others, also they collect money on the behalf of the department. So from July, the figures I have here is July to February. What was printed for us by the revenue board is 24 million. That is what has been collected. So if it is until December, looks like in the last 2 months, there has been some very good money collected. January was 3.4 million. February was 3.4 million. So in total, from July to December, on average, it could be around 18 million. But up to February, which is last month, is 24 million. That is CES. Then noise. Noise, you realize that July they collected money, which was 26,400. August also they collected the same. And then September was 6,600. The other months, nothing was collected. So in total, this is 59,400. Then another stream is fire. Fire. And The total that has been collected to date is only 1 million. Looks like in February they collected some significant amount, 772,000. Maybe finance will need to explain that further, but that's what was collected. And then July last year, they only collected 2,000. Then tree cutting, which also falls in the department. So tree cutting, it's only 19,800. Now for this, July there was 10,000, August 5,600, September 4,200. From October to date, nothing is recorded. So it's an area that needs to be looked into. So the total that has been collected is 33,741,365. That is to date. So because the Revenue Board collects this on our behalf, Honorable Chair, I'm not able to share what was anticipated for this period of time. My apologies for that. Thank you.
Thank you, Waziri. Even though you've given us some huge figures, but if you go through the main abstract, the main the main abstract where revenue performance was cumulatively underwater environment, you've got that in the first quarter they targeted 10 million and they managed to collect 3.1 million. And then the second quarter they targeted 114 million 432 and the collection was 3,057,000. It means we've realized about 2.7%, only 2.7% from what was to be collected. And it seems Director Wayne has something to say. And lead.
Target of first quarter.
For water and environment, the target was 10,309,771.
Then second quarter?
The second quarter was targeted 114,832,400.
I think, Chair, there's a serious error on that because the variance is so wide. 10 million and 114 million, that's so enormous.
As per what was indicated.
Maybe that's a typing error. We'd like to correct that, please.
Okay.
Yes.
And even if you do some correction on it, but we've not managed to get there, we have not realized a good target of 2.7%. Still too low. And is there anybody with another question from that area? Mheshimiwa Millicent?
Yeah, I would like to know these Kiwasco people. You said that they're supposed to remit 3 million, they drop 1 million, they complain that you don't pay bills. Do they fail to bring the extra 2 million deducting from the bills? That's first question. Then another question. This 3,000, is it a percentage of what they collect or it's just a friendship agreement?
To answer part of it, and Waziri will me to answer part of it. We have conservancy fee that is in our Water Act 2023 of 70 shillings per active meter. Yes, so that is what we get from Kiwasco. And I believe they are supposed to pay us the whole amount, but now the rest the Waziri can say.
Thank you. I stand corrected, but what they do present to us is that they do a deduction from the bills that the county owe them. The county owe them more than 500 million. If you look at all the health facilities and the other county facilities for all the other departments, It's a huge amount. Though I know, like the other day, they had even deducted water at the slaughterhouse. They did that. So I know an amount was paid to them from finance. There was also the stadium. I know they do it quite often in Mambuleo. And finance do pay them some small amount. So it's an area that needs to be addressed on utilities. Thank you.
A rejoinder to that, Waziri. You talk of the slaughterhouse, not there was shortage of water in the slaughterhouse the other time. Yet at the slaughterhouse, those who operate there also pays. Why is it that they can't take the money being paid to cater for the other services? Because if you slaughter, you pay something for that. Why can you direct us on that? Let's give Honorable Basso to proceed. Then Honorable Gowd, you are coming later.
Thank you, Chair. Chair, and also to add on that, I think all these hospitals within the county do bring to us how they spend their funds. And one of those things that are always being captured is the operation, how they pay their water bills. So we are a bit surprised when you are telling us. So I think we should deal with the real figures, and everything should be worked in a straight line. Thank you.
Yes, Azir, I think you understood that, being that the audited report they usually bring for us in the assembly, so that we know where they are, the areas of spending. You can proceed, Honorable Gad.
Thank you, Chair, and the department. Thank you for coming. Chair, mine will be very short and brief. The biggest problem we have in Kisumu is about water. And we are the people who have the lake, but we don't get the water. That notwithstanding, the issue here is Kiwasco. That I want to come to. As a government, we know Kiwasco is the water service provider in Kisumu County, all over. We have some, the Nyanas, that is in Nyakat, the Gulf in Moroni and all that. All these people, I think members who are here and not some who are not here, we've been doing a lot of service to them without return from their end. If Waziri, you can tell us that you target 3 million from Kiwasco, this is something that has been calculated from the records that they have. It's not something that you just created from somewhere. We know the number of connections Kiwasco makes in terms of metering people in Kisumu County, each and every month and each and every day. Even today, I know there's a new person that has been connected. If it's a conservancy fee from the meters that we have in Kisumu County alone, then this figure should be increasing daily. It should not be constant, because the connections we are getting that the Kiwasco are making in Kisumu County. Today we have the affordable housings coming up, we have the water, all those things are metered. And then this figure should not be standing. In fact, if we give them a target today of 3 million, it means by next month, they should give us 3.5. It can never come down. Two, the fact that they can tell us that we owe them, there's no way we can be paying them from source. Let them give us what they owe us. They can't deduct that money at source and then they say, you owe us, so we've deducted. Who gave them that authority? I don't think Kiwasco is bigger than the county government of Kisumu. Kiwasco is not bigger than, Waziri, you have to take this seriously. If you are coming to see this committee next time, the Kiwasco people must be represented. We do a lot of pipeline extensions. Like my ward, when I came in 2017, we were at 21% in terms of, I think Mr. Wino was the chief officer then. We were at 21%. Now we are at 47%. I've done more than 10, 50, 20 kilometers pipeline extensions, and people have been connected. How has that brought any revenue back to this county? I spend the money allocated to my ward to do pipeline extensions, to make sure that people get this water. After being metered and those who are paying bills, how do we get that money back to do other pipeline extensions? These things are going down each and every day. You are telling us you are supposed to give us 1 million, they deducted. We don't want to know. There's somebody in charge of TRH, somebody in charge of KCH, somebody in charge of prosperity. Let those people pay their bills. And if the people of JOTR don't want to pay, let them negotiate with Kiwasco. Now they are going to pay. It's not us as a government to come here and you tell us that they deducted, that we owe them. Who owe them? The assembly doesn't owe them any money. Do we have any bill for Kiwasco in the assembly? None. And if any, let them cut this the meter. So that the assembly, because we have that money, we are being given that money each and every year to pay for our bills. If somebody is not paying, then it should not be a county problem. It should be an individual. There is always the person in charge to make sure that those bills are paid. So, Waziri, welcome to this department. I know you are very new into it, but this is the biggest problem we have. And if you are going to walk this journey, you must walk hand in hand with Kiwasco. Kiwasco has operated as if they are another elephant, and they are operating as if they are another government outside Kisumu government. They must know they're just a department within Kisumu government, and we have to oversight them. And therefore, you have to put your foot down and ensure that these things we are talking about, we want to know the Nyanas itself, the one in Nyakach, how much does it remit? Because I know those people, the last time we checked their financial report, it was around 1 million. If you look at the consumption, the money being paid by Nyakach girls alone in my ward, that company there, you go to Nyabondo complex, the money, the bill they send to those people, and it's being paid. But when you bring the documents here, there's nothing. It's less than 1 million. That's just but one. We are not talking the main Kiwasco in Kisumu town and all others within Kisumu County. So 3 million is a mega thing that we don't even need to talk about. And therefore, we want them to come here, tell us the number of meters they have, tell us the amount we are going to get, and each and every meter that they get, they connect every day, we must know. Because they have to be, we have to oversight them as we do other departments. And therefore, Waziri, I want to request through the chair that we are going to go out. And if it means we are going to nail the management of Kiwasco, then we have to do it to ensure that our people, because if you tell us you're going to make 6,600 in a month for noise, well, we know there are people, the music alone in this town, the shere in this town, the branding and the vehicles around making noise. You can't tell us in a month you collect 6,600. There must be something. And if this department is going to give us these revenue streams, there must be somebody from your department who is working in collaboration with the revenue team to ensure that your revenue streams are recorded and we know them. Because to us, if you tell us you recorded, like you told us noise in all 6 or 7 months, 59,000. But this is what you are being told. Who is the officer who was in charge of this revenue collection that documented that from noise we took this, from fire we took this, because fire, each and every installation in town here has a fire certificate, and they are paying that each and every year. How do you know that you are telling us you collected 772 in 1 month? You could manage to do 772,000, but in a whole year you do 1 million. Things that we must make right, and even that revenue board, because you are a revenue producing department, you must have somebody from your department who is in charge from your revenue streams, so that when you come here and ask us for more money, we know what you're going to do with that money. You're now saying you have less technical staff. How do you give the technical staff when you don't tell us how much you brought to the county? When the other departments are taking advantage and saying we took this much, we brought this much, you are coming here and telling us you gave us 59,000 for noise. Why do you need to employ somebody there in that department, in your department, to be in charge of noise? Because who is going to pay 59,000 in a whole year? If that is what you can collect in a whole year, will you be taking 10,000 or 5,000 per month to be sustained by the 59,000? Before we give you more money to get more staff, the technical staff, make sure you tell us your revenue streams and who is in charge from your department, But you tell us from noise, we are getting 1 million. Therefore, we can get somebody there who can work specifically to do that noise management in your department, who is a technocrat. But if you're not showing us how you are going to give us back, why do we need to employ somebody there? You're saying it's inspection of projects. How do you know that Kiwasco is giving a disservice to people when somebody from your department is not attached to Kiwasco? Who gives you the report? You wait for the manager. You must have those people from your department so that you oversee all other departments within your department. So, Chair, if you allow me, through the Chair and to Waziri, we want Kiwasco in this house. Chair, if you allow me, let's invite Kiwasco with the Waziri so that we get to the nitty-gritty of water service providers in Kisumu County. Thank you.
Thank you, Mheshimiwa Gad, for the information. There's some response from the Waziri. Rejoinder.
Yes, a rejoinder on the same. I also want to comment about the, in this county, every department is complaining about lack of staff, professionals. And while in real sense, we are being told that there is a huge wage bill. And from what the CCM was saying is that they lack professionals. So I just want to ask a question. What are these supporting staffs doing? Because if you go to every department in these in their offices, you'll find more than 3 individuals in those offices. So we wonder, was there misplaced on priorities, or what is it? Can you at least clarify on that, so that as we move forward, we know on which ways we can help this county to move forward? Thank you.
Thank you, Waziri. You can proceed.
Thank you, Honorable Chair and Honorable Members. Those are very valid questions that are coming. And allow me to start with the last one, that the recruitment and placement of staff is done by the Public Service Board. So we do make our request. Personally, since I came to the department, actually took it to the executive. But the support staff, especially in the department, are usually majorly the cleaners. The cleaners who are in town and other sub-counties, who are quite a number. But I cannot authoritatively speak on behalf of the Public Service Board on those matters. Now, Mheshimiwa has raised some very key issues about Kiwasco, and I think they should be able to respond, especially on meters. Now, the deduction from source is true, and what I want to say is that utilities are coordinated from the Department of Finance. It is finance. You find that it is centralized. So usually departments are not able to do that. It's finance that pays for all utilities, whether it is power, it is water. And it is true that we need to have a conversation. I'm glad you brought in the issue of Nyanas. Even as a department, we have our own concerns. There is even communication to that effect. It's something that has even gone to the cabinet on those two entities, on how this needs to be managed. So it must be addressed, and bringing them here to address it is very important. I do agree, Mheshimiwa, that we must assign somebody at the revenue board to help us with these figures. Because being the entity that collects revenue on behalf of the county, yeah, they've been doing their things independently because they had their board and it falls under the Department of Finance. But I do agree that now we'll assign a specific officer from the department, even if he is based in the department that closely monitors, even if it means having an enforcement team to help us follow up on noise, tree cutting, and all the others. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Waziri. We're almost coming to the tail end. We have what one question, one answer. But as we heading to the last one, Waziri, you talked of the Jaramogi Oginga Odinga owing some bills to Kiwasco. Yet we have the FIF bill, which they spend the facilities. Don't know about that.
Chair, as I mentioned, when I have conversations, because I always make follow-ups, especially on this 1,000 issue, and that 3,000 is actually minimal. And you add what Mheshimiwa said, honorable members, that the number of connections on a daily basis are quite a number. So I know that finance, because they are cumulative bills over the years, and I'm aware that they have FIF, but we do know that it is at source. But I think the issue could be the payment of utilities that is centralized. That sometimes makes that a bit complicated, but they are better placed to answer that. But that's the position that is usually communicated to us regarding county facilities. Thank you.
Thank you, Waziri. I think that one will be handled at the right time when they come in, so that they'll be in a position to ask them. Then finally, Waziri, you get that there are some wage issue of pending bill. Can you state of the pending bill within the department? Thank you.
Honorable Chair and honorable members, I think within the report it's highlighted that we have both the recurrent pay bill amounting to 21,813,139, and also on the development 146,678. What I want to state here categorically, within our expenditures, we normally, the process of any expenditure, we do our submission, as I said before, on time. But because of sometimes on the disbursements, the way the national government, they disperse to the county government, occasionally we have problems with a lot of payments, and that is what is making us have such significant pending bills. You find things are processed, they reach the finance, and beyond that, we have very limited access and control. So you find a lot of things going and then they are voided, which is something that as a department, sometimes we don't have express control about. Yes. Highlighted on the amount, recurrent 21 million, then the other one is 146.
Okay, thank you, Chief, for the response. Is there any member with anything to ask on that? Any member with any question? Okay, thank you. Go proceed.
Yeah, I just want to raise a concern over some project on Floka in my ward. It's a very big project, but over the weekend, I was attending some burial in that place. It's sad that it's being vandalized. So I'm just requesting the department, if they can assign some security to take care of that project. Those vichungi have been removed and the signboard is gone, and I fear that they will remove those still.
Honorable Chair and honorable members, that is noted. We'll go and discuss and find a solution to that, how we can safeguard that project. That project is in phases. We are looking forward for a second phase. We will discuss on how to, maybe if we can install security guards to guard along the riverbank to protect our arch from any further vandalism. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief, for the response. And I think you're now coming to the tail end. Is there any other question? Thank you for the good deliberations we made today. And I've got only one worry in the department, is that the implementation of the projects within the department, Waziri, only what goes on well is the FLOCA projects. And the CRF projects are not just well implemented well. So I think you can add that issue. Because in each and every area, see that the FLOCA projects are the one being implemented even in the first quarter, the first half of the budget. What we've talked of is just the FLOCA projects being implemented. And the CRF is at a standstill, Chief. You want to respond? Okay.
Honorable Chair and honorable members, first of all, let me assure you, I'm doing all that is within my hands to ensure that these projects are implemented. All of them have been given away, and people, we are calling even contractors who have not gone to site to ensure they go to site. And we are anticipating 100% implementation. What brought the issues around implementation, I believe all departments were affected. By December, we didn't have a clearance on whether we were implementing or focusing on paying pending bills. And I think it's you people that made clarity on that, and you gave us a roadmap, and we swung into action, and we did exactly, we started our procurement processes, and we are right now at the implementation stage. Thank you, but we are going to do our best to ensure they are done.
Thank you, Chief, for the surety. And in conjunction to that, in order to serve our people well with the FLOCA projects, kindly we should avoid clustering so that we come up with the other issues which might assist us. Otherwise, I think all the issues has been tackled, and hopefully we are going to get to Waziri so that we meet the Kiwasco team so that we see what do we get as the own source revenue. Otherwise, if you don't have any other question, I think we call the meeting to an end. Thank you for taking your time for the deliberations, Waziri. The much we'll do is to at least go and do whatever we can do so that the department gets something which is tangible for the development for our people, being that water is of importance to the people. Otherwise, thank you for your time, and have a safe journey. Thank you. Or you have a shooting part, Waziri.
Thank you, Chair. I just want to extend my gratitude, thank each and every member who has made time for us under your leadership and raised some very key issues. It's true, some of the issues that have been raised here, we are also struggling with them as a department. And we bank on your support, Chair, and all the committee members. But we want to pledge that we'll do our best as a department to deliver to the people of Kisumu. Thank you.
Thank you, Waziri. I think we call our meeting to an end. Otherwise, feel free for the deliberations. Thank you.